The Diamond Sutra, chapter 31. Neither knowing nor seeing is produced. Subhuti. If someone were to say that the view of a self, the view of others, the view of living beings, and the view of a life are spoken of by the Buddha, Subhuti, what do you think? Does that person understand the meaning of my teachings? No, world-honored one. That person does not understand and the meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. And why? The view of a self, the view of others, the view of living beings, and the view of a life are spoken of by the world-honored one as no view of self, no view of others, no view of living beings, and no view of a life. Therefore, they are called the view of self, the view of others, the view of living beings, and the view of a life. Subhuti, those who have resolved their hearts on Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi should thus know, thus view, and thus believe and understand all dharmas, and not produce the marks of dharmas. Subhuti, the marks of dharmas are spoken of by the Tathagata as no marks of dharmas. Therefore, they are called the marks of dharmas. Subhuti said that someone who holds the opinion that the Buddha spoke of a view of self, others, living beings, and a life, does not understand the doctrine which the Buddha taught. That person has not reached an understanding of the doctrine of the emptiness of people, of dharmas, and of emptiness itself found in the Prajna teaching, which expresses the principle of emptiness. Earlier, the Buddha had spoken of the marks of self, others, living beings, and a life. Then, at this point, he spoke of the view of self, of others, of living beings, and of a life. What is the difference between marks and views? Marks are external objects with which one becomes involved through the eye organ. Views, on the other hand, are discriminations of the mind to which one becomes attached and at which one grasps. Views are subtle attachments. Marks are coarse attachments. The superficial outer marks are easy to discard, but it is very difficult to obliterate the subtle attachments of the mind consciousness. Therefore, the Buddha mentions both. To enable people not only to subdue their hearts and leave marks, but also to subdue their hearts and eradicate views. When one separates from views, one can truly arrive at the state of the emptiness of people, of dharmas, and of emptiness itself. But the Buddha only spoke of those views from the standpoint of common truth. If explained in terms of actual truth, they are not views. When expressed from the standpoint of the middle way, therefore they are called the view of self, the view of others, the view of living beings, and the view of a life. Originally, there are no marks and no views, but in the wonderful Dharma of Prajna, the Buddha gives them false names. Not only are the view of self, of others, of living beings, and of a life that way, all dharmas should thus be known, thus view, thus believe and understand all dharmas, and do not produce the mark of dharmas. That means do not be attached to any dharmas. All dharma spoken by the Buddha was for the sake of the hearts of living beings. If there were no hearts, of what use would dharma be? The marks of dharmas are spoken of by the Tathagata as no marks of dharmas. Therefore, they are called the marks of dharmas. They are merely given a false name. The Vajra Sutra expresses prajna, the wonderful principle of true emptiness, and also expresses the Dharma door of equality found within the wonderful principle of prajna. In general, there are 5 aspects of equality evident in the sutra. 1, the equality of living beings and Buddhas. 2, the equality of emptiness and existence. 3, the equality of all dharmas. 4, the equality of one and many. And 5, the equality of all views. Most people do not understand equality dharma doors. So they put a head on top of a head, add marks to marks, and change what is basically equal to what is unequal. Number 1, the equality of living beings and Buddhas. When I was 16, I wrote a matched couplet upon reading the 6th Patriarch Sutra, having lectured to the place where the text says, Dharma is not sudden or gradual. Confusion and enlightenment are slow and quick. I thought, how can there still be a sudden and a gradual? What is sudden? What is gradual? Are sudden and gradual different? Are they two? So I wrote the following. Although sudden and gradual are different, upon completion they are one. Why make divisions of north and south? Sagely and common are parts of the one. The basic nature is absolutely the same. Do not discuss east and west. Although sudden and gradual are different, upon completion they are one. Sudden refers to instantaneous realization of Buddhahood. Gradual refers to slow cultivation to Buddhahood. Sudden and gradual are two distinct methods. But when one finishes the work, there is no sudden and no gradual in evidence. They no longer exist. Why make divisions of north and south? The south refers to the sixth patriarch, the great master Hui Ning, who taught sudden dharmas. North refers to the great master Shin Siu, who advocated gradual dharmas. In the south, the sixth patriarch's disciples said, "We are the true, authentic Chan sect." In the north, the disciples of great master Shin Siu said, "Our master was the fifth patriarch. For several decades, all the heart dharma of the fifth patriarch has been transmitted to him." Each following of disciples argued that their master was authentic. Let me make clear at this point that no matter whom you meet, you should not try to assist your master by pleading his case. Instead of asserting that your master transmits the proper dharma, you may say, "Our master is empty, false, and unreal. There is no dharma which can be spoken. There is no true, no false, no right, and no wrong. One should not speak of people's good points or their faults." That is what you should say. Do not be like the disciples of the sixth patriarch and the great master Shin Siu, who carried on a running battle in which they criticized one another's teacher. That quarrel grew until it became the division into sudden and gradual teachings, north and south. When I read the sixth patriarch Sutra, I thought that the reference to sudden and gradual lacked equality, so I wrote the line, "Although sudden and gradual are different, upon completion they are one." What is the origin of sudden? Although one suddenly attains enlightenment. One cultivates life after life for a long time within the Buddha Dharma prior to that enlightenment. When one reaps the fruit of that long process of cultivation, that is called sudden. Gradual refers to the long process of cultivation. But the day the cultivation is complete, there is sudden enlightenment. For that reason, I say there is no sudden or gradual. Why make divisions of north and south? How much the less are there distinctions like location? What is south? You may call a certain location south, but if you go south of it, it becomes north. In the Surangama Sutra, there is a discussion of the middle. When looked at from the east, it is the west. And when seen from the south, it is the north. South and north are also like that. There actually is no north or south. So why make such distinctions in your heart? Sagely and common are parts of the one. Sagely refers to the Buddha. Common refers to living beings. The world is divided into these two types. But the basic nature is absolutely the same. Buddhahood is the realization of the Buddha nature. Living beings can also realize their Buddha nature. Do not discuss east and west. Do not say that in the west Amitabha is a Buddha and in the east all creatures are just living beings. Do not make such distinctions in your heart. Great Master Yung Chia's Song of Certification to the Way says, there are no people and no Buddhas. The realms like grains of sand in 1,000 worlds are like a bubble on the ocean. If you understand the Buddha Dharma, there is nothing to which you can become attached. If you still have an attachment, you still have not understood the Buddha Dharma. Do not discuss east and west. Why devise so many questions? Where did all the questions come from anyway? Such questions remind one of Yajnadatta, who looked in the mirror one morning and saw that the person reflected had a head, whereupon he realized he had never seen his own head and concluded that it was lost. The thought drove him insane, and he ran around madly looking for his head. Actually, his head was not lost. He himself had jumped to that conclusion. People who become attached to the Buddha Dharma are the same way. They become involved in a search for Buddha Dharma. How do you really find the Buddha Dharma? turn yourself around. That is the Buddha Dharma. To turn yourself around means to wake up. Wake up. That is the Buddha Dharma. If you have not awakened, you are still within the Buddha Dharma, but you do not understand that you are. To continue the discussion of the equality of living beings and the Buddha. Living beings are former Buddhas who have turned into living beings. For living beings to become Buddhas again, they need only return to the origin and realize Buddhahood. Therefore, it says that sagely and common are parts of the one. The basic nature is absolutely the same. Number 2, the equality of emptiness and existence. The 6th Patriarch Sutra says, when asked about emptiness, answer with existence. What is emptiness? Emptiness is existence. What is existence? Existence is emptiness. How can you say emptiness is existence and existence is emptiness? That is too confused, you may say. Is it the principle that is confused, or is it you or I? When you are confused, you think that emptiness is emptiness and existence is existence. When the confusion is cleared, you know that emptiness and existence are equal. Do not attach to either annihilationism or eternalism. The equality and non-duality of emptiness and existence is called the middle way. Here, true emptiness does not obstruct wonderful existence, and wonderful existence does not obstruct true emptiness. True emptiness is wonderful existence. Wonderful existence is true emptiness. When there is existence, then emptiness manifests. When there is emptiness, then existence is apparent. There is no emptiness and there is no existence. They are not two. The non-duality of emptiness and existence is the equality of emptiness and existence. Number 3, the equality of all dharmas. The Vajra Sutra says, the dharma is level and equal without high or low, therefore it is called Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. That is the equality of all dharmas. The Tathagata neither comes nor goes. That is the equality of all dharmas. The equality of one and many is missing from this book. Don't know why. No explanation is given in the book. PDF Maker's comments. The number 5, the equality of all views. What is the view of self? The view of others, the view of living beings, and the view of a life. There is none. That is the equality of all views. Medicine is prescribed according to the sickness. But once cured, you no longer take the medicine. If you remain on medication after the illness has been cured, further illness will result. That is the equality of all views. Those 5 aspects express the essence of the entire Vajra Sutra. But to understand prajna, the principle of emptiness, one further thing is needed: faith. If you do not believe the principles of emptiness, then no matter how often it is explained, it will do you no good. The Buddha Dharma is like a great sea. Only by faith can one enter. Chapter 32. The response and transformation bodies are unreal. Subhuti. Someone might fill measureless asamkhyas of world systems with the 7 precious gems and give them as a gift. But if a good man or good woman who has resolved his heart on Bodhi were to take from this sutra even as few as 4 lines of verse and receive, hold, read, recite, and extensively explain them for others, his blessings would surpass the others. Realizing that some people are willing to give as a gift as many of the 7 precious gems as would fill measureless asamkhyas of worlds, you should ask yourself, can I give away all my wealth? If you cannot, your merit and virtue are not as great as that of the person mentioned here. However, if you cannot give up your wealth, it does not matter. Keep it and come to study the Buddha Dharma. Then you can give away Dharma. Perhaps in studying the Buddha Dharma, one learns to recite the Vajra Sutra, or as little as a 4-line gatha from it. One accepts it with one's heart, maintains it with one's body, reads it from a book, recites it from memory, and extensively explains it to others. If you can do that, your blessings and virtues are greater than those of someone who gives away gems which would fill limitless, numberless worlds. Isn't that easy? That is why I say you can obtain great merit and virtue without necessarily giving up your wealth. How should it be explained to others? With no grasping at marks. Thus, unmoving and wide. All conditioned dharmas are like dreams, illusions, bubbles, shadows, like dewdrops and a lightning flash. Contemplate them thus. Explain them extensively for others refers to literary prajna with no grasping at marks, refers to contemplative prajna, thus, unmoving refers to real mark prajna. Prajna was discussed at the beginning of the sutra, and at the end of the text again makes reference to prajna. When you explain a sutra for others, you should not become attached to marks. You should not think, I am gaining a lot of merit and virtue by explaining this 4-line gatha for them. Although you are correct that your merit and virtue are great, you should not harbor a mark of their size. If you do, you grasp at marks and become attached to them. If you are able to refrain from grasping at marks, then the existent is as if non-existent, and the actual is as if empty. Basically, someone with way virtue is as if devoid of way virtue. A man who is truly educated is as if devoid of education. That means that at all times, in all places, you should be free of the mark of a self. Thus, unmoving is real mark prajna. It is true. Actual wisdom, by means of the principle of suchness, one can understand the wisdom of suchness. And with the wisdom of suchness, one can understand the principle of suchness. There is no dharma which is not thus. That is real mark prajna. And why? Why does one need literary, contemplative, and real mark prajna? Shakyamuni Buddha spoke 4 lines of verse, which those who study the Vajra Sutra should regularly recite. All conditioned dharmas are like dreams, illusions, bubbles, shadows, like dewdrops in a lightning flash. Contemplate them thus. Everything is a conditioned dharma. Eating, wearing clothes, walking, standing, sitting, lying down, running a business. All activities are conditioned dharmas. Those are examples of external conditioned dharmas. There are also the 5 skandhas: form, feeling, thought, activities, and consciousness, which are conditioned dharmas. The 4 principal elements, earth, water, fire, and wind, are conditioned dharmas. The 6 roots, the 6 dusts, the 12 places, and the 18 realms are all conditioned dharmas. All those dharmas, whether external or internal, are like dreams, illusions, bubbles, shadows. What is a dream? No one knows. If we knew, then we would not dream. People are in a perpetual dream. When you fall asleep and dream, you are unaware of the things which exist. in your ordinary waking state. And when you awaken from the dream, you usually cannot remember the events of the dream. In the same way, we are unable to remember the events of our former lives because they have disappeared in this present life's dream. Someone may have a dream in which he becomes wealthy, is appointed an official, and is on the verge of becoming president, when suddenly someone else says to him, "Sir, you are actually having a dream." But in the midst of his dream of riches and position, the person cannot believe what he is told. Everything that is happening to me is real, he says. I am wealthy. I am an official. I'm a candidate for president. How can you say that I am dreaming? However, when he awakens from his dream, he will know without being told that all those events happened in a dream. So too, we people are as if in a dream. Now I will tell you, this is a dream. Although I've told you, surely you will reply, what do you mean? A dream. This is all real. These things are actually happening. How can you say it is a dream? You cheat people. When your cultivation is accomplished, you will awaken from this dream and know without being told that everything you did in the past was a dream. The reason you do not believe me when I tell you that you are dreaming is that you still have not awakened from your dream. When you awaken, you will agree, yes, it was all a dream. Illusions are unreal, like a magician's tricks. The magician recites a mantra, and a lotus flower suddenly appears in the water, or in the midst of fire, or he may cause a piece of jade suddenly to appear as if from nowhere. A magician appears to have spiritual penetrations and wonderful functioning, but what he does is unreal. Although it seems real, if you investigate, it is seen to be illusory, non-existent. Such acts as the lotus in the fire can fool children or fools into believing the lotus is real. But an adult can take one look and know that it is a trick. When you understand the Buddha Dharma, you know that everything is empty and illusory. The world is empty and illusory, realized from a conflux of conditions which only seem to be real. When you do not understand the Buddha Dharma, you are like a child or the fool who considers everything to be real. This is not to belittle people, it is a simple fact. People who do not understand the Buddha Dharma think that being wealthy is real and think that official positions actually exist. In actuality, everything is one. A person is the same whether he is rich or impoverished. If you understand that everything is empty and illusory, then you cannot be confused by anything. You will not become attached to unreal states. Bubbles are also basically unreal and quickly disappear to show their emptiness. Shadows follow people around. When there's form, then there's a shadow. The form is an actual substance. The shadow is empty. If explained in more depth, even form itself is empty and totally unreal. If you do not believe that, then just continue to be attached to your body, protect and maintain it, and see whether or not it dies. Like dewdrops in the lightning flash. If you look outside early in the morning, you will find dew. But after sunrise, the dew will have disappeared. A lightning flash is also impermanent. Contemplate them thus. You should look upon all conditioned things in this way. If you do, then heaven will be empty and the earth will be void. The measure of your heart will be as vast as the heavens and as broad as empty space, free of impediments. Without impediments, there is no fear. I have no fear. I have never been afraid of anything from the moment I was born. Dead men, living men, strange essences or weird creatures, tigers, lions. I fear none of them. Bring me a tiger and I'll turn it into a kitten. Try it out. I can be this way because I have no obstructions. With me, everything is okay. If everything is like dewdrops and a lightning flash, like dreams, illusions, bubbles, or shadows, then what can obstruct? There are no obstructions, and so there is no fear. The Heart Sutra says, when there are no impediments, there is no fear. With no fear, upside down, dream-like thoughts are left far behind. Therefore, I say, I do not fear tigers. If you do not believe me, bring in a tiger, and I'll sit in meditation beside it. After the Buddha spoke this sutra, the elder Subhuti, all the bhikshus, bhiksunis, upasakas, upasikas, and the world with its gods, men, and asuras, heard what the Buddha had said, rejoiced, believed, received, revered, and practiced. The end of the Vajra Prajna Paramita Sutra. Okay. That was the Diamond Sutra from the Buddhist Translation Society. I don't know if it would be different from, I haven't read this one here, which is basically like this. I have the Diamond Sutra, but I chose to read the one like on my computer screen. But this one seemed, that's sort of like there's like loads of commentary and whatnot in it, which it may be good to read that and then go in and like read the this one includes things about, you know, Guan Shi and Pusa, Guan Yin, different, you know, the triple paramitas, but yeah, it's got like a lot of interesting stuff. So I expect this Diamond Sutra, which seems to, it has a cover, the Diamond Sutra, which I don't know, I think I paid like $5 or $6 for it on Abe's Books. But yeah, this that I just completed reading was like a PDF from the Buddhist Text Translation Society, so it'll be good to have read that as I sort of approach reading that, because this is like, the Tathagata Garbha, this is just basically the Diamond Sutra. It's got a lot of cool pictures in it and stuff. But it's new to me. I personally practice Pure Land Buddhism. I took the Refuges and 5 Precepts on a Zoom meeting to a temple in China. I have a Dharma name and everything, so my Dharma name is Jialao. Jalao. I think it means old man, but I'm a simple, ordinary, unenlightened being, and during this Dharma ending age, according to Pure Land Buddhism, it's highly unlikely that ordinary enlightened beings will achieve enlightenment in this lifetime. So to end the cycle of reincarnation based on my limitless evil karma, you call on the name of Amitabha Buddha at the time of death with true repentance, and you will be received into Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. There you will quickly become a Bodhisattva and a Buddha. So this is more advanced information than I'm used to reviewing with Buddhist teachings, but they encourage you to read the sutras in Pure Land Buddhism. Much different than other types of Buddhism. That's the end of the Diamond Sutra, read from the PDF from the Buddhist Translation Society. I suppose they're reputable, and now I'll probably go on my own time and read this. It'll probably be a little more intense as far as that goes.